All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. All right, this is the brother Ainad. I got the priest Nala with me, and the title of this lesson is going to be called "America's Economy is Doomed." Okay, I saw this after camp last night. This video on the screen, and you know, I figured, man, you know, this is such an elementary level, you know, explanation on why America, you know, is destined for economic downfall. We had to, you know, go ahead and do a video on it. So, Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. You have any opening statements, brother?
No, I mean it's straightforward. You know, these Edom'S, you know, you got these guys like Peter Swift and, you know, Max Kaiser and all these guys. They talk about the economic turmoil that's soon to befall Babylon the Great, which is America. But you know, in their eyes, these guys think that America's going to recover and bounce back after this great recession and fall. But the prophets of Yahweh are here to tell these Edomites and these other economic analysts that the economy's gonna fall and then it's gonna be through, man. America's gonna be destroyed. There ain't no coming back from Babylon the Great. Okay, Babylon is falling. It's falling, man. Okay.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pause it and play it and get a couple points. You know, without further ado.
The Philippines and Serbia are joining a slew of central banks that are increasing their gold holdings. They follow a global trend of other central banks accumulating bullion in a move seen as a shift away from the U.S. dollar as a standard.
Okay. All right. So what he's going into is just an update on the trends of these nations joining the move or the wave of transitioning their currency from the U.S. dollar, being backed by the U.S. dollar, to gold and silver, okay, because that is the real commodity, and as Esau knows, okay, but this is something that is being done because these other nations are seeing that America is a weakening, and it's on a downtrend, okay, and so now they're going back to you know, the old-fashioned gold and silver, which is true money. Okay, you want to? I guess we can go ahead and get this first scripture out. So
this is Psalms chapter 50, verse 21. It said, "These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes."
Right, because Esau, the self-proclaimed white man, the nation of people that rules the world, but chiefly America is one of his capital rulership countries. Okay, has put nothing but punishment on the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And so part of the reason why the Most High is bringing down America, bringing down its economy and its currency, is because of these lies and deceits and tortures that these Edomites, self-proclaimed white people, have put upon the chosen people of the Most High. Okay, so much so with such great success that he thought that the Most High is actually for his wickedness, because the Most High hasn't punished Esau yet for the things that he's done. So in the eyes of a self-proclaimed white man, he thinks that the Most High is with him. And so that's why he, you know, is so bold and proud as to think that he's going to be able to resuscitate this dying country called America, okay, and make it so-called great again. All right, but can you read the latter parts of verse 21 again, brother?
God, it says, "But I will reprove thee, and I will set them in order before thine eyes."
Right. So, contrary to what Esau thinks, to what the self-proclaimed white man thinks, he's actually going to reprove Esau. All right. He's going to basically scold them and punish them. All right. And it says set them in order. Who is the them in that sentence? The nation of Israel. Set us in order before Esau's eyes, man. Okay. and he's going to see the real natural pedigree that the Israelites have, okay, and how useless he is in the eyes of the Most High. So I'm gonna keep. Okay.
It says Job 20:4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so even though that Esau, it was prophesied in Malachi that Esau was going to build up, but he's going to be thrown down, man. Verse 6, it says, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reacheth unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him, that have seen him shall say, where is he? So, although he's thinking that this is his enterprise is just going to keep going, and he's proud of all of his quote unquote accomplishments, but the Most High already has said that he's going to take him down, man.
God.
Okay.
God. Yep. So we just seeing this, man, and we kind of just laughing at the fact that he thinks he's going to keep going. But we're gonna play some more of this video.
Mm-hmm.
This global trend, by the way, was led by Russia and China. So what does it...
Pause. All right. So it says it says the global trend that of transferring wealth from the dollar, all right, to bullion, as he said, which is gold and silver, was started by who? China and Russia, which just so happen to be the two biggest opponents of America. Mm-hmm. Okay. And we're going to get into that in Jeremiah, the 51st chapter. Matter of fact, we might as well just bring it up now because you already mentioned it. The one that you said, Jeremiah 51 and 7, I believe.
This is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 7. It says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. And we know that wine is talking about her philosophies, therefore the nations are mad. Mm-hmm. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, so if so be she may be healed.
Right. So like the brother said, these philosophies that America has spread has basically infected all the minds of these rulers of these other nations. Mm-hmm. Okay, and so you're going to have these powerhouses, i.e. Russia and China, that are going to basically wake up to the fact that they've been being duped, all right, and come against America, okay, which is why it talks about how Babylon is suddenly fallen. Can you drop down to verse 11, Bible show?
Verse 11 says, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes.
Right, and those Medes, the kings of the Medes, represent the Russians. All right, and so when these other nations are making bright their arrows, all right, or also known as their ICBM missiles, and they're gathering together their shields or their nuclear defense systems, all right, the Most High is going to put the spirit on the Medes, all right, which is the Russians, to attack who? Go ahead,
for his devices against Babylon.
Right, which we know Babylon is America. To do what?
It says to destroy it. Because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple.
Right, man. So the Most High is going to put the spirit on these Edomites to fight against each other, Russia to fight against the United States, the spirit on these Moabites to fight against these Edomites, all right, and all these other nations to fight against each other. Why? Because it is to destroy one another, because it is the vengeance of the Most High, the vengeance of his temple, all right, and his temple is starting with the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay, all throughout basically the whole nation in the kingdom of heaven, the whole nation is going to be his temple, man. Okay, so that's that on the precept. We could go back to the video.
Really mean? Well, there are few people who know more about gold than Peter Schiff, and he is good enough to join us now with his take on this. Peter, why are countries doing this? And I guess. It bears asking, right? As an American, what does this mean? What does this mean to me? What does it mean for us?
Well, I think it means a lot for Americans because we have enjoyed the extraordinary privilege of being able to create out of thin air the reserve currency.
Boom. So what this devil is telling you is, matter of fact, we get that scripture in Revelation 18 where it talks about they have lived deliciously, because what this devil is telling you is that he said we've enjoyed the extraordinary privilege of being able to create currency out of thin air. Basically, he's been able to manipulate the entire world's economy just because he is the creator of the dollar, which all the nations have put their trust in the dollar in order to buy the world's greatest commodity, oil, and so he's letting you know right now, that basically we're going to be on a downtrend now because we created so much of this fake money or this money that just doesn't really mean anything. And now it's going to come back to bite us in the ass. You got
this is Revelation 18:9. It says, "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, the great city Babylon, the mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come."
Right. So, hey, man, that destruction that America's going to go through is going to be televised, and all the nations that have done business with America are going to see what happens when you live and rule your nation in such an atrocious manner. Okay, chiefly against the Israelites. So, you guys want to go ahead and get that, man, because all these nations really have lived deliciously. All right.
Yeah, mainly by when you read up, it says
7.
It says Revelation 18:3. It says, "For all nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication," which that links up with Jeremiah. And it says, "The kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through her abundance of her delicacies," man. And so through all of their the philosophies, as far as their economic philosophies and ways of using usury and making things out of thin air, all of these other countries and nations have gathered riches, man. They've gotten rich off America, man. And it says 7. How much? It says Revelation 18:7. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she hath in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow.
Right. Yeah, because she's basically tormented the nation of Israel. All right, and counted nothing the blood of our forefathers. And so now, and that's talking about America, by the way. And so now the Most High is gonna torment the Edomites, man. Okay, because Esau has used America to extort the nation of Israel to maximum degree, man.
Right, extort the whole planet, man.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
So I think that's the point on that. Keep going on the video.
And before the dollar was the reserve, gold was the reserve. And the reason that the dollar became the reserve is because it was as good as gold. Because the dollar was not only backed by gold, but redeemable in gold. In fact, the dollar was gold. It was Federal Reserve notes that were IOUs for dollars, which were made of gold. And we went off the gold standard in 1971, but I think the world is going to go back on it. Because I think the day...
So he said that the dollar used to be backed by gold, okay, but now it's not backed by anything, okay, and now the Federal Reserve is able to print out as many dollars as it wants because it's not backed by anything, and
it's worthless fiat,
right?
Debt notes.
Yep. Exactly. And so now this devil thinks that America is going to have to go back to the gold standard. Okay, but little does he know, America's run out of time, man.
That's right.
Okay, so you're not gonna be able to go back to the gold standard.
You ain't going back to nothing, man. You're going into slavery, boy.
Gone. That's right. We'll keep going on it.
Where the dollar is a reserve currency are numbered, And we're going back to basics. You know, everything old is new again. Gold was money in the past, and it will be money again in the future. And central banks that are smart enough to read that writing on the wall are increasing their gold reserves now.
Well, if we don't have gold and we stay with something like what we have now in the United States, we're then able to manipulate currency in such a way so that we can, for example, print money when we're in the middle of a recession or worse. If we go to the gold standard, for example, if it becomes global and we have to end up accepting it ourselves, that would not be good for us, right? In terms of getting out of these sticky wickets we've been in, like in 2008.
Well, first of all, the only reason we get into those sticky wickets is because of the Federal Reserve. So the Federal Reserve lights the fire and then pretends to put it out. If we go back on the gold standards, we take the matches away from the Fed. So they can't light the fire, so there's nothing to put out. You know, gold and economic freedom go hand in hand. And if you don't believe me, just ask Alan Greenspan, because he authored an article, Gold and Economic Freedom, which I would recommend that people read. But, you know, gold is the enemy of the welfare state and big government. That's why governments don't like gold. They want paper. But the problem is eventually the paper has no value. And we are headed to a currency crisis in the United States. And what's going to put the United States back on a gold standard is to try to stop the free fall of the dollar. You know, they're going to postpone it as long.
So Esau is looking at he's looking at the economy and the numbers and all the stocks and bonds, and he's foreseeing all these trends that have gone basically started the Great Depression, started the recession, and all these other downtrends in the economy. And he's saying, look, we're going towards the same path once again. We need to go back to the gold standard if we want to survive. And then you got the Edomite on the left saying, well, if we do that, we don't have enough gold. You know, all these nations are buying all the gold, so we're not really going to have a lot of money. He's just like, look, that's our best shot, you know, because we're not going to be able to continue to print more and more dollars if these other nations are switching from the dollar being the Federal Reserve, basically the dollar being the #1 commodity in the world to now gold, you know. Esau sees all that stuff, man, and he's like, damn, you know, hey, we're going to have to count the costs and build back up. But little does he know, man, America is not going to stand a chance. He's not even going to get that chance to rebuild itself.
That's right. That's right. I got a quick precept. Zephaniah 1:18. It says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath.
Ooh, man. So the silver and the gold that Esau is going to try to attempt to accumulate is still not going to be able to save him when Yahushua and the chariots come, man.
That's right. See, he's not accounting for that for judgment.
No.
Great judgment, man.
Right. Right.
You know, so this is what we're here to tell you, Peter Swift. It don't matter how much gold y'all get. It don't matter how much willing and dealing y'all do. The Israelites are going to rise up and you going into slavery, man.
Right.
And all that, everything's going to be corrected, man.
Right.
Okay.
And the reason we're calling you Edomite is because if you brothers look on the screen right here, you can see that this man's flesh, okay, compared to his shirt, is not white, but red.
That's right.
All right, look at that pink ass tie he got on this.
You know what? Go rewind it to the other Edomite.
Oh yeah, Con. Yeah, let me back it up a little bit. I'm gonna roll that. You know, everything that these devils say, man, you gotta analyze it. Exactly. Yeah. Let me see here. There you go.
There he is. Yeah, that crack.
So the Federal Reserve lights the fire.
All right, so look at his red ass tie. All right, and look at the background. Look at his skin. Tell me which one is closer.
Yeah. Does he look like the shirt he got on, or does he look like that red ass tie he got on, man?
Right. You know, but you want to call him white, man? Come on, but hey, man. Anyway, man, these devils, you know, they're absolutely, their time is up, man. They're spiritually expired.
That's right.
You know, was there more on that in Zephaniah?
God, it said, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Right. And that links up with Isaiah 13, man. Because it tells you how Russia's not going to regard their silver nor their gold, man. Matter of fact, I'll get that real quick.
Got it. Yeah, I was thinking about Isaiah 14. Isaiah 13 as well. Where it talks about they're not going to be inhabited forever, and that's how you prove that it's not talking about ancient Babylon, but Babylon, the daughter of Babylon.
John, this is Isaiah 13 and 17. It says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there." And so, you know, it ain't gonna matter if you go back to a gold standard and do all of this and do all that. America's through, man.
God.
It was prophesied that America's going to be destroyed. That's what's going to happen, man. Babylon is America today, man.
God.
Just like the brother said, you know, you had Babylon, ancient Babylon has already fell. So we know this is talking about another Babylon, man. When you read it about Babylon in the Revelations, that's talking about another Babylon, man.
God. That's right.
Which is America, man.
God.
Okay?
Let me keep going with the video.
God.
And then pretends to put it out. If we go back on the gold standards, we take the matches away from the Fed. So they can't light the fire, so there's nothing to put out. You know, gold and economic freedom go hand in hand. And if you don't believe me, just ask Alan Greenspan, because he authored an article, Gold and Economic Freedom, which I would recommend that people read. But, you know, gold is the enemy of the welfare state and big government. That's why governments don't like gold. They want paper. But the problem is eventually the paper has no value. And we are headed to a currency crisis in the United States. And what's going to put the United States back on a gold standard is to try to stop the free fall of the dollar. You know, they're going to postpone it as long as possible. You know, when Nixon took us off the gold standard, he said it was temporary. He was right, it was temporary, but it just lasted a lot longer than people thought.
Because of what the
Right, so this devil said, okay, because we know that President Nixon, he basically made a televised statement that America's dollar is going to be taken off the gold standard temporarily in order to help with inflation or whatever the hell was going on at that time. But it's still, to this day, it's not back. The dollar is still not backed by gold. We have not gone back to the gold standard. So what this devil is saying is we're going to have to go back to the gold standard. But he says it in such a sinister, sneaky way and proud way that, you know, you would miss it if you weren't privy to his devices. You know? You got something, bro?
No.
Okay.
Got this Jeremiah 50 and 9.
Yeah, con. Yeah, because these nations, man, they're tired of America, man. You know? They're watching the same thing that we watch, and they're like, man, these people are full of BS, man. They're making these promises and saying that we're going to do one thing and another thing happens. All right? Basically spreading confusion. All right? They're like, man, I'm tired of this madness, man. I'm just going to take over. You know? You got it.
This is Jeremiah 50 and 9. It says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain."
Right. So all of these nations, all right, are going to assemble against Babylon the Great, which is America. All right. That north country in verse 9 is referring to Russia. All right, and it says, "And they shall set themselves in array against her." All right, because Russia has allies, just like how America does. You know, and it says, "From this shall she be taken; their arrow shall be as a mighty expert man; none shall return in vain." Which goes into Joel, the 2nd chapter, where it talks about the arrows, all right, or those thermonuclear missiles. They're going to run like mighty men. All right, there have never been any like her, and there will not be any after, roughly paraphrasing. All right, and it says, "None shall return in vain," meaning all of those missiles that these other nations fire upon America, all right, all 200 million of them, okay, are going to land and destroy this place, man, because it's the will of the Most High. You know, and like the priest said earlier in the video, that's one thing that this smart ass Edomite here with pink tie on is not calculating.
That's right.
Okay, he hasn't calculated Jeremiah 50 into his analysis to put on live TV.
Yeah,
all right.
Because what he really should be up there saying is, man, we're gonna go down and we're gonna go into slavery.
Right.
That's really what should be on RT News.
Right. You know, but hey, we're the real truth news, man.
That's
and so
right.
you got it live and fresh from GMS, man. All right.
That's right.
You know, is there more, bro? Like, no,
that's it.
Okay. And we can get a second.
Okay.
Dow's done this month because of what we saw yesterday with the yield on bonds and several other indicators. People are saying that it's not looking like anything other than likely at this point that we will be hit with a recession, probably at some point in 2020. In fact, that's what Guggenheim is reporting this morning. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, not just a recession, the recession. It is going to be worse than the last one, which was the worst one since the Great Depression. We call it the Great Recession.
I'm sorry, bro. This Edomite right here is telling you directly that the economic downtrend that's to come is going to be worse than the what they call the Great Recession of 2008. Okay, which if you look at that, he just said it. That was the worst recession since the Great Depression, like between World War I and World War II, Great Depression. Like, he's basically telling you that the recession that's to come is going to be worse than the Great Depression, or at least as bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you got Jake still out here living it up. You know what I mean? Just fulfilling the prophecy, man. The scriptures that said they're going to be eating and drinking and giving into marriage. Okay. But little do they know that this economy is absolutely crumbling, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's completely through. And this video has what 100-something thousand views, 112,000 views. Okay, but ain't nobody doing nothing about it, man. They just looking and like, damn. You know what I mean? Because they know it's over. You know.
Session. The next one is going to be greater. And what's going to make it that much more problematic, especially here in America, is the resurgence of inflation. This is going to be an inflationary recession. We called it stagflation when it happened in the 1970s, except this is going to be a lot worse. A much weaker economy than the one we had then, and much more inflation, except there is no Jimmy Carter and Paul Volcker waiting at the end of the decade to save us. Instead of going hard right, we're going hard left. We're going to go to modern monetary theory and a democratic socialist, which means they're going to run the presses full steam, and that's what I think is going to crash the dollar, and ultimately, which would bring us back to gold.
Look at that Edomite face on the left. He winced when he said that. He's like, damn, yeah, the dollar is going to crash. You know? He already knows that it's over with. He's just trying to do damage control right now. You know? You got that scripture, brother?
God, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 21. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was a brother before camp, the brother Thashal before camp, he was talking about how he said, talk to this Jake, you know, that he said something about how America withdrawing from OPEC or whatever, and then Jake was like, yeah, you know, I think it's good that America withdrew from OPEC. Look at gas, it's cheap. See, all they think about is just what the price of everything is right now. They don't think about the repercussions that it has on, you know, American economy in the long run. They're so short-term minded, they don't even see anything outside of short term.
Uh-huh.
You know, all these different commodities, gas, you know, shoot, everything, even though the price of everything is rising, we still get decent prices because our dollar is still strong compared to these other nations, you know? So everybody thinks that they're good.
Mm-hmm.
You got it,
God, it says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy.
Right, so your average Edomite that we see at camp walking down the street, walking his little dog and shit, he gonna be eating that dog, man.
That's right.
All right, the average, you know, Edomite that has 2 kids by a Jake woman, that family, they're gonna be eating their kids, they're gonna be eating each other, okay? They're gonna be getting sick, you know what I mean? They're gonna be turning against each other, all right, shooting each other up. It's gonna be all types of turmoil, man. In the meantime, the men of the Lord are gonna be we get that in Psalms too, and then I know you got that one in Inhabitants of Next says, But yeah, that Psalm 72:1, like you said earlier, you know, because these people, man, their imagination is that they're going to just be able to continue to thrive.
That's right. This is Psalms 2:1. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? Right? An empty thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they imagine that they're going to be able to still conjure up ways to
survive
and corrupt and lie and cheat and keep going, man.
Yep.
Right? It says the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us.
Right, and that's what they really do, man. I mean, you know, even on the news, you can see that they trying to avert, you know, biblical prophecy by, you know, saying, oh yeah, this is what we're gonna have to do, and you know, hope for the best. When in reality, we're reading it in Jeremiah, reading in Revelation, that's Esau ran out of swings at the bat, man. That's 3 strikes and he's out, and he got to go back. He got to go back to the what they call it, not the pit, but yeah, ain't that where a batter's wait, and they call it a pit or some shit like that.
The dugout.
Yeah, they got to go back to the dugout, man.
That's right.
And Israel's gonna be up to bat. You got it out. Yeah.
It says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh, the Lord shall have them in derision. Right? And so that's what we're saying. The Most High's already got it set up that you're going to be through.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to sit you guys in derision, man. Okay? Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath. And we talk about that wrath of those missiles, you know. But then we also talk about the famine and the pestilences and plagues that are coming, that are going to befall the earth as well. And he's going to vex them with his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon the holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. The Lord shall have said unto me, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession, man. So little does these two guys know that not only is America's economy going to fall, you guys are going to go into slavery, man. And you're going to be serving the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven. Okay?
If I'm going to probably play the rest of this video and get that last one.
Peter Schiff, always always good having you on, and thank you so much for sharing some of your expertise with us on this. Thanks again. Understand, Chad.
Yeah, so that was it on that, you know. And so the moral of the story is, just like the title says, great recession coming as gold standard returns. But it should really say great recession coming as Yahweh shall return.
That's right.
You know, you want to get that last scripture again?
This is Zephaniah 1:11. It says, how ye inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down. All they that bear silver are cut off. And hey, I mean, that's pretty straightforward, man. You know, all of these, these different economic analysts and these guys on Wall Street, they're gonna be howling in that day when they see the dollar crumble. You know, so they see all of these markets crumble. Nobody's gonna be buying and moving goods, and it's gonna be just constant distress and disarray for these Americans, man. Really for the inhabitants of the earth outside the elect of the nation of Israel, man. Because World War III is gonna pop off, race riots are gonna pop off. Okay,
that's right.
It's gonna be a scene like out of that movie, what's that movie where they have 24 hours to kill and all of that? What's that movie called?
Purge.
The Purge.
Yeah,
it's gonna be like that in the streets, man.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. I believe the point was made. You know what I mean? Like I said, America's economy is doomed. You know, we brought out multiple scriptures proving that. You know, and if you don't do the research and believe it, hey, that's on you, man. You've been warned. So, pursuant to Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter. You got any closing points, brother?
No, that's it.
So, hey, I brought this out, you brothers, edified. With that, I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory due unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak, Badash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.